Single question. Okay. So judges, please score theirs beauty for 70% and 30% question and answer. Okay, candidate number 21, Jack de la Serna, you pick question number 7.
Yes.
Okay, so I think this is a question I got from the internet. So the question is, actually you can answer in Filipino or in English, it's okay. In 2020, the Medical City has launched its Center for Gender Health and Wellness, which is designed to provide holistic, gender-sensitive healthcare to members of the LGBTIQA+. What can you advise to our trans sisters who continue to self-administer medications that they believe are necessary for their transitioning? Timer starts now.
It's been 8 years since I've been taking hormone replacement therapy, and I cannot blame my sisters in the trans community who are self-medicating because it is their choice. And I believe that it's about taking the risk than losing the chance. Because in the Philippines, we don't have a proper healthcare, especially for our brothers and sisters in the LGBT community. So if they would like to self-medicate just like myself, it's our choice. But if you can prioritize, if you have the funds to go for doctor, then go for it. Because if you will go for the feminization, especially here in the Philippines, which is very traditional and very religious, then I think that it's up to you. As a transgender woman, you have the choice to self-administer your hormones, and I think.
Thank you, candidate number 21. Grabe. 15. Okay, grabe. This is a question that I sourced from Peanut Edwin Valispin. So galing kay Peanut itong question na ito. If Peanut is watching, this is your question online.
Nasa event.
Yes. Nasa event ba siya? So coming from Peanut, the question to Miss Isa, which is question number 15. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected millions of lives around the world. As a transgender, what struggles did you have during the pandemic and how were you able to overcome them?
As a transgender woman, and beside from being a trans mom, I am also a businesswoman. I have 5 salon closed at the time of pandemic. I was crying, I have anxiety, I am so problematic. Every night I can't sleep, and every day when I woke up, I always crying. Ang sabi ko, Panginoon, bakit ganito? Bakit ang 5 salon na aking pinaghirapan? Isang pandemic lang ay hindi mo kinuha lahat. Ngunit, paano ko na na-overcome? Simple lang. Pinagtiwalaan ko yung plano ng Diyos para sa akin. Sabi nga nila, kung ang plano mo hindi natupad, pagtiwalaan mo ang plano ng Panginoon. Dahil dyan, meron na po akong 4 na gown shop, 4 na milk tea shop, at higit sa lahat, meron po akong isang anak na sinusubaybay na sa aming sinusubaybayan, na wala ang 5 salon ko, ngunit sobra ang kapalit dahil pinagkatiwalaan ko ang plano ng buong may kapal. Maraming salamat po.
Very well said, candidate number 4.
As individuals, we are constantly faced with the predicament of making decisions, whether it be for ourselves or for others. What is the worst decision that you ever made in your life, and how were you able to overcome this problem? Timer starts now.
Well, the worst decision I would make is that to speak publicly. Why? Because the way I speak, I've been bullied because I have a speech disability. That is the worst that ever I had decided. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Tonight it is not that worst because this is the venue for me to encourage every one of you. Whether you have a weakness, you have the right and privilege to proclaim who you are and what you are. Because I do believe, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what weakness you have the best version of what you can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mami Dimple. So, pwede na ba siyang
Which is right, which is right.
Okay. So, ganyan ang tinuturo ko sa research. Okay, this is our question, Ate Belle. Medyo mahaba pero madali lang to. In the Philippines, LGBTIQA plus members can adopt as a single or solo parent. The law on adoption under Republic Act 8552, as amended by Republic Act 9523, currently does not consider the sexual orientation or preference of the adopter. For as long as one who wishes to adopt qualifies for the requirements of the law, then adoption can happen. The question: what message do you have for other LGBTIQA+ who want to have kids through adoption? Timer starts now.
Thank you so much. I believe that there is no right or wrong answer in that particular question. I believe women's right and men's right is also our right. I believe the law in adoption doesn't require any gender at all. For as long as your capacity is to love unconditionally and you are willing to take care of that particular child, then definitely you can adopt. I believe as a member of the LGBTQI community, we are a combination of man and woman. We think technically and we have this emotional being of ourselves that we can touch both genders. That's what we are, become special human in this world. Thank you so much.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much.
The school.
Thank you. 13. Since the first Pride in March in 1994, the LGBTIQA+ community in the Philippines has continued to celebrate this event on the month of June. So happy Pride Month to all of us. The more recent Pride marches have become more visible to the public with its organizers' use of social media to promote the advocacy of the event. The question is, do you think that the Pride celebration still serves its own and original purpose? Timer starts now.
Okay, let me answer the question straight to the point from my heart. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that Pride Month has a purpose. And the reason why we are celebrating it, although we are living in a democratic country and as an LGBT, we are tolerated but not totally accepted. And I think the Pride Month celebration is opening the mind and eyes of the people that we exist. We deserve acceptance and equality. And I believe that rainbow, whenever there's a storm in our life, we will never stop, and there will always be a rainbow after the storm. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Okay. Question number 11. Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24 of this year. Death, injury, sexual violence, malnutrition, illness, and disability are some of the most threatening physical consequences of war, while post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety are some of the emotional effects. The question is, if you want to send a message to the presidents of Russia and Ukraine, what would you tell them? My timer starts now.
You should always follow the rules of the world. There is a specific Republic Act in the world which states that war should always focus on humanitarian and civil rights. It should speak and respect other people even if there is a disagreement between wars. Dapat kong respetuhin ang mga sibilyan at hindi mo dapat silang idadamay sa pag-ibig ng problema ng bawat bansa. Let's always remember that your mental health and those people, young and elderly, that we need to respect whether you disagree with another person. Let's always remember that you can always communicate to end a war and not a life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, candidate number 28. A new study suggests that transgender women maintain an athletic advantage over their cisgender peers even after a year of hormone therapy. Question: do you think that transgender women be allowed to compete in sports under the female category? Timer starts now.
Definitely yes, because your capability as a person will not based on what is in between your legs. Because technically, transgender can be considered as a female because of their gender identity, because of the
souls feel. Because at the end of the day, if we were going to accept each and everyone regardless of what is in between our legs, we just see them as a person with their capability, then be it. And if we are going to accept them in that kind of arena, definitely we will have this inclusivity that we are looking for, that we are hungry for. Because if we were going to accept each one of us regardless of gender, this world will be a better place to live in. Because at the end of the day, the struggle of our equality is timeless, yet timely. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much, candidate number 3. The UNICEF is deeply concerned about ongoing efforts in Congress to lower the minimum age of criminal responsibility in the Philippines below 15 years of age. The proposed law will vary from 9 to 12 years and goes under the letter and spirit of child rights. As an LGBTQIA+ member, how will you persuade Congress not to push with this recent change?
Simple lamang po ang aking masasabi para ma-push po sa Congress na wag ipasa ito. Isa lamang po ang gusto kong sabihin. Lahat tayo ay pare-parehos na magiging magulang. Lahat tayo ay kanya-kanyang magulang. Alam naman natin sa mga sarili natin na meron tayong magiging anak at merong mga batang hindi karapat-dapat na pag under 15 years old ay makulong ka agad. Isang simpleng pamamaraan lamang ang pwede natin gawin. Madali bang turuan ang mga batang under age na 15 pababa? Bakit kailangan ipakulong ka agad? Simple lamang po. Nasa mga magulang yan, lalo-lalo na sa mga bilokong manonood ngayon, mas maigi na turuan natin ang mabuting asal ang ating mga kabataan, ang ating mga anak. Nang sa ganon, mas makatulong sila sa itaunlad ng ating bansa. Hindi maging perwisyo dito sa ating lugar. At yun lamang po, maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, candidate number. Okay. The question is, actually, madali siya. Vice President-elect Sara Duterte is pushing for mandatory ROTC training for all 18-year-old Filipinos. How do you think this will affect the young LGBTQIA+ community? Timer starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, panel of judges, I strongly believe that ROTC will affect the young transgender LGBT member here a lot. Simply, we Filipino may be colonized by other countries. We colonized by Spanish, Japanese, and even American. And if ROTC will be implemented here in our country, then it will help we Filipino. Why? It is simply because they will give us a proper education to fight for our rights, also to fight for our country. Therefore, we should always remember that we must need to accept ROTC because it will not only accept or help the LGBT nor the youth, but it also help the lot of Filipino. And if that moment time will come true, I know that we Filipino will be stand up and we will become a better Filipino for better Filipinos.
In fairness, example was from Miss Duen Romenco Santiago. I think he owns a flower shop in Nagpagalingan. The question or the statement goes, there are a number of celebrities and personalities that are considered to be icons by the LGBTIQA+ community. As a queen, who among the LGBTIQA+ icons, either living or dead, do you consider as the most influential in your life and why? Our timer starts now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I should say that Vice Ganda is the one who influences each and every one of us. Not only for us, part of the LGBTQ community, but also for men and women. Why do I say so, ladies and gentlemen? Mind you, my dear friends, that most of the successful person here in our society right now are part of the LGBTQ community. There are lawyers, teachers, even soldiers and policemen. So well, ladies and gentlemen, I should say that Vice Ganda influences a lot each and every one of us.
I do believe that Vice Ganda served as a blessing to each and every one of us by sharing his mind, heart, and hand. For I believe that his mind was thinking for everybody's concern. A heart was willing to give love without expecting something in return. And a hand.
Timer stop.
Thank you, Miss Fanny.
Sorry.
It's 1 minute already.
But it's okay. I think it's
Repeat the question. How many times have you joined transgender pageants in the past? After joining Queen of Recto 2022, what is the relevance of this pageant 10 years from now? Timer starts now.
Thank you so much. When it comes on the number of times I join beauty pageants, to be very honest, I cannot say how many. But I can say it's too many to mention. And what's going to be its relevance in the future? Well, I can just say it can be just a memory. Because we don't know, ladies and gentlemen, what will the future hold. We don't know what's going to be in there in the future. So whatever's happening today, definitely it will serve as a memory. And one thing is for sure, with that memory, there will be an inspiration that it can actually embody to all the people that is watching right now, especially to the youngster nowadays. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Basketball Pete. Controversies still surround the passing of the SOGI bill. If you will be an elected senator, what right of the LGBTIQA+ do you think should be given priority and why? Timer starts now.
Thank you. We live in a generation where people are becoming vulnerable to each and every one. We as humans, we are here promoting for something. And if I were going to be a senator, what bill should I pursue for the LGBTQ community? That is the anti-discrimination bill. Why do I always say anti-discrimination bill? First and foremost, it is already implemented in some cities here in the Philippines. But the question is it still relevant to other cities also? Is it also empowering each and every LGBT member from different cities? I don't think so. That's why I choose this bill, because it makes us LGBT member. We having that freedom of expression. It is also our responsibility. That is why I will choose that bill, because it is for the betterment of my co-community, my brothers and sisters from the L.
Thank you.
Thank you, candidate number 26.
Almost, no, pero not.
People in science do not have exact words on how to describe and characterize transgender people. As a transgender woman, what do you think is the biggest misconception about being transgender or being part of the LGBTIQA+ community? Timer starts now.
Thank you for that very interesting question. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that there's a lot of misconception about the transgender people in this world. And I think the main reason is those people that are trying to pull us down as a person. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that the biggest misconception of the people in our society about us is that we are just a liability in this world. I believe that all of us are in different industry. Some are doctors, some are teachers, some are lawyers. So I believe that we are also capable to be an asset for us to have a productive country and for us to be able to make this country to be a better place to live in. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that God created us with different purposes. And I think that transgenders are also created by God because we have a reason on why we are existing in this world. Thank you.
Oh, grabe. It's just a nick of time. Thank you. Fake news is the present threat and it hacks at the foundations of safety, security, and justice with each day it is allowed to spread. The question is, how can you help in order to prevent fake news from rampantly occurring in different social media platforms? I'll repeat. Fake news is an online phenomenon bearing serious real-world consequences. It pushes propaganda, sways elections, distorts truth and ruins lives. Fake news is a present threat and it hacks at the foundations of safety, security, and justice with each day it is allowed to spread. The question is, how can you help in order to prevent fake news from rampantly occurring in different social media platforms? Timer starts now.
Okay, as an influencer and as a member of the trans community, how can I help to eliminate fake news? Definitely, ladies and gentlemen, I will use my platform not to showcase what fake news is, but rather I would tell everyone what is just, acceptable, and the truth. Because ladies and gentlemen, always remember the truth will always prevail. Definitely always inculcate in our minds that in every humanity, we should always inculcate to know what is truth and liable, especially to the media who is facing or who is giving us the informations. Some of them are fake news, but rather always bear in your mind the capacity to know what is right, acceptable, and just, and be vigilant of your surroundings so that you will never be a victim of fake news. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, candidate number 8. In a 2021 U.S. report, about 43% of all military sexual assaults over the prior years were committed against troops who are members of the LGBTQIA+ community. The question is, what measures would you suggest to prevent this type of injustice against the members of the community? Timer starts now.
Measures that we can do to prevent this kind of things from happening is to show these people, these abusers, that we can stand for ourselves. Because it is a notion that when someone is a part of the LGBTQIA+ community, that they are weak. But no, let's use this as a strength and use this as our weapon to fight against these discriminations and most especially of these abuse. Because also, just like heterosexual men and women, we deserve respect and we deserve to live a normal life. That is all. Thank you.
So thank you, candidate number 8. Incoming number 1 Senator Robin Padilla has expressed his intention in leading the Senate Committee on Constitutional Amendments in order to restart the legislative process to overhaul the 1987 Constitution. As an LGBTQIA+ member, do you think it is necessary? And if yes, what specific change would you want to implement that will benefit our community? Timer starts now.
I believe that Robin Padilla based that idea of his very deeply. He thought about it very deeply. Therefore, I believe as an LGBTQIA+ community, as a member, I believe that the thing that should be changed is the one that Article 3, Section 1 states that no one shall be deprived of life, liberty, and property. Rather, I believe it should be broadened. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we, the LGBTQIA+ community, have been suffering and have been fighting for our rights. And this is something that is only included into a man and a woman. I believe that we, as part of the LGBTQIA+ community, should also be included and should also be cited. Because we are also human beings. We are also citizens of this country. Because human rights, LGBT rights are also human rights. And
thank you, Ms. Marian.